Would you rather be 20 for the rest of your life or 40 for the rest of your life?
20.
I'm going to say 20 as well.
Ooh. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
In audio.
Welcome to Second Saturday, the podcast where every day feels like a weekend.
This is episode 1, and I'm Ainsley.
And I'm Jen.
And today we're going to be just discussing why Second Saturday, who we are, and a little get to know us. So you can kind of get a feel for what this is going to be about and who we are and
Love
the
it.
joy we bring to this lovely world.
Cool beans. Okay, so here's the question. Why Second Saturday? Where did it come from?
Well, we're in the hot tub. It was
know,
a Canada Day weekend when we came up with it.
Right.
And we were in the hot tub after we were swimming in our very, very cold pool.
Oh my God, the pool.
It
We'll
is-
talk about that at great lengths.
It is so cold. And I don't know how we got talking about it, but I think I was talking about school and whatnot. And you were like, oh, we should create a podcast. And I was like, we should. And you're like, no, I'm serious. We should create a podcast.
I was serious. I'm like, come on, man, let's do this
Well, look
stuff.
at us. We're doing it. And so now we're creating it. But we came up with the name the same day because I think it was Sunday.
Yes. So we came up with a name because
Yeah.
it was Sunday, but we were having so much fun that weekend. We're like, and I think I said, I'm like, oh my God, this feels like a second Saturday today because we were just having so much fun. And then we were both kind of looked at each other and we're like, that's the name of our podcast,
Yeah.
Second Saturday.
Because there's
we
always
just
room
have
for
it.
another Saturday and a weekend.
Too much fun on a Sunday. That's
Yep.
the problem. That's what happens with us when we get together all the time, man. Too much fun on a Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Second Saturday.
Second Saturday.
Second Saturday.
Um,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So we also created a logo.
yes, and you'll see that logo if you're on YouTube or Spotify. It is our main logo. We just created it today
Right.
while we're recording this. It was a journey.
I personally, I love it. I'm just telling you, I love it. I think it totally encaptures that you and I as a mom-daughter duo. Because even though we're a mom and a daughter, we flip and do everything together.
Yeah, we're
we
best
never
friends.
not are doing things together.
We are very
which
best friends.
I'm so thankful about. But I mean, it gets us into trouble sometimes.
That's why we're, quite often.
So, and obviously it depicts our love of pool, because we've really learned how to pool this summer, haven't we? We've
did.
got pool down to a T.
We hit pool hard and pool hit us hard.
Well, that's just it. I feel like this year we're kind of like 50, we're batting 500 in the pool. Like we've won
Yeah.
some and we've lost some. So I feel like so pool is a good representation. And really, what's our first and true love? Golf.
Golf.
Right? We love to golf. We golf all the time together. We just finished a couple of tournaments last weekend. So our love of golf. So we're in there, and you'll probably notice there's a little beverage in there too, because we love a good summer beverage, or fall beverage, or winter beverage, or
It's a year-round activity, really.
we just love to have a fun beverage, right?
Yeah, and sometimes the
So-
beverages end well, and sometimes the beverages don't end so well.
Exactly. It incorporates us all, which I think
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So
I just
it's very fitting. It was just a quick generated, here we go, but we really
Yeah.
like it.
So here we are, second Saturday, starting it out.
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about who we are, because nobody really knows us yet. So let's get everybody introduced to us. So who are you, Ainsley?
I'm Ainsley. I'm Ainsley, really. No, I'm currently finishing my 4th year of school, and then I will be entering the world in the film industry doing sound. So the podcast is very fitting, and I'm kind of the technical brains of this operation.
Please
essentially.
make some money at this career, because let me tell you, as a parent, she costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
She's a pricey girl.
So
Um,
that's kind of where I'm at right now in my life, is
I love
finishing
it.
up school. Currently, summer break is about to end, and then in a couple weeks, I am headed back to school while we're recording this. But
right?
I'll probably be back in the big city because right now we are in Manitoba.
Yeah, we should tell them where we live.
Yeah.
So right now we live in northern Manitoba, and when I say in northern Manitoba, I mean northern Manitoba, Canada.
Yeah.
We are probably 10 hours north of the Canadian-US border. So
Yeah.
we be way up there. We live in a little
Yeah.
tiny small town called Snow Lake, Manitoba. And we've just moved here recently over the last few years. We've kind of been in the north for a while. My husband and I first moved to Manitoba when we were first married because we managed and then owned some fishing lodges. So that's how we got into the north here. We've since sold that and we're in different careers now. But yeah, so northern Manitoba is our home. Now, we're originally from like the Ontario area. And I remember when my husband, who was my fiance at the time, said to me, well, I think we should go to northern Manitoba. I'm like, where is that? Like, I live in this country and I don't even know where northern Manitoba is. I was like, I live 3 hours north of Toronto. I thought that was northern Ontario or northern Canada.
And now for us, a 2-hour commute is quick and short to the next town over.
2 hour commute. We just did 2.5 hours to go to a golf tournament.
Yeah. And you have to drive 2 hours to get to Walmart or Canadian Tire.
Right.
Or any like name
Major
store,
box
really.
stores.
And anything you want in the city is 8-hour drive away.
Right? It's cray.
But either way, whether you go over a province or down the province, it's 8 hours both ways. So
it's cray. So yeah, so we're up in northern Manitoba. We live on a lake, so we're up in God's country, obviously. So we're in the north where there's only one road into our town.
And it doesn't go past crazy, the town, but it ends in town.
It ends in town. So we actually live on the outskirts of town. We're about 20 minutes outside and we live on a lake. So we're really, really fortunate with that. We're used to lake life with owning a fishing lodge. So yeah, it's a pretty sweet little gig we got going on here. And honestly, I never thought I'd admit this, but I actually love northern Manitoba, which is crazy. I just never thought in a million years, if you'd have told me when I was in my 20s where I'd be at, this is not the place. But hey, you never know where life's going to take you. I love it. So yeah. So and
it's
then
definitely a good place. Like I'm glad. I always tell people I'm glad I grew up here.
Yeah.
I definitely have learned in the last 3 years because I go to school in Toronto that I'm probably more of a city person than I would have thought going into the school into school. But I'm very glad that I grew up in the north and had lived the lifestyle I did because I think it has helped a lot, especially with cityites, as the city people like to call themselves.
Right? Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I mean, what percentage of the population gets to live at a lodge? So we should talk about that. So we owned a hunting and fishing lodge for 16, 17 years, I guess it was. My husband and I managed a little bit before that, a different lodge. But yeah, that's where my kids grew up. Literally,
I was 11 days old after you had me because my birthday is in August and she had 11 days of maternity leave before
11 days
boating
maternity
back
leave
up
here.
to lodge, which you can only boat to. Like there is no driving access.
Yeah,
it was as remote could get. And there I was, 11 days old, and there she was cooking and cleaning. Woo!
Yeah, trying to figure out life with a newborn. So yeah, and then a year and a half later, I had my son, and he's pretty awesome too.
Yeah.
As much as Ainsley is city, my son be not city.
Yeah.
If he could just live on an island and freeze in and live off the land, that's what my son would do, which is
he
nuts.
Eats,
I don't get that.
breathes, sleeps, hunting and fishing, anything.
Everything. That's it. That's his life, which is good for him. I love having two kids that are like total polar opposites. Pretty awesome. So we owned a hunting and fishing lodge. That was an awesome gig for a lot of years. And we'll talk about lots of that later too. Oh my God, we have a million and one stories.
The stories are insane. But yeah, I spent, I guess, 14 summers up there because we were only up there in the summer.
Yeah.
So that was 14 summers of my life.
Yeah.
But it was good. I wouldn't change it for anything at all. I actually have the one lodge tattooed on my arm here.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's upside down, but whatevs.
You get the point.
You get the point.
Yeah.
And so now we're out of the lodge industry. We're still in northern Manitoba. My husband's self-employed. I have a job, and yeah, that's where we're at right now. So that's a little bit about us. Hey, Ains?
Yeah. There'll definitely be a lot more to learn. Right now, you think we're pretty normal? Give us a couple episodes.
We
Just will not be normal anymore. If you also couldn't tell, we are in the same room right now.
Yes.
Hence Harry Potter decorations on both sides, because someone, don't know who, someone, is obsessed with Harry Potter.
I might have a little bit of a Harry Potter obsession, so which is fine. We'll get to that later. But in the meantime, I think we should talk about the would you rather question we just opened with.
Yes.
So would you rather be 20 for the rest of your life or 40 for the rest of your life?
Well, I went with 20, I think, just because I really like my life right now, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, it's kind of a bias. It's an unfair question to a little
'Cause
bit
you've
because
lived
I've
both.
lived through like almost most of them. I've definitely lived through my 20s. I am through most of my 40s. So I have had a chance to experience both of them, but you haven't. So yeah, I can see why
Yeah.
you're choosing 20.
Yeah, I think it's like right now I'm at a point where I'm like, I haven't ventured too far where I'm not too sure or like insecure or unsecure in what I'm doing, but I'm still learning. Whereas, who knows hopefully when I'm 40, I'm very successful. But I haven't lived to that point to know if that's what if I'd rather be in a successful career or who knows where I'd be. So,
And I'm
that's
kind of
for
on the
me.
fence. I'm kind of on the fence on both of them. It's kind of a 60-40 split, I guess. I mean, my 20s were awesome. And they were back in like the 90s, early 2000s, which was the time to be before all this social media came along. Best time to be in your 20s because I have very little footage of what I actually did, which is a good thing. I have photo albums that I haven't even actually shown you yet, Ainsley. I have not brought those out for anybody to witness yet. So someday,
Well,
someday we'll go through those photo
we're gonna
albums
have to
and you'll be
break
like,
into those.
seriously, Mom? I was like, yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
That was me. And the 40s are great. I love my 40s. I mean, really, I love every stage I've been at. But I think if I could choose, I think I would like the non-responsibility and the better figure. Yeah. Looking way better in my 20s than I was in my
Yeah.
40s, which I know is like totally like superficial. But I mean, I guess if I could pick it, I would for sure relive my 20s again just because they were so awesome. I had a great run. It was a great 10-year stretch. Great 10-year
Yeah,
stretch.
I'm 2 years, I guess, into my 20s now.
Yeah.
20 and just started the second year.
Oh, you're a baby when it comes to 20s. Just think of all the
Just
stuff
little,
that you're going to
just
be doing.
itty bitty.
Doing.
Just itty bitty.
Yeah. So anyways, I think that was a great would you rather. What about you guys? What would you rather be? Would you rather be in your 20s or would you rather be in your 40s?
Yeah.
Drop a comment. Let us know if you would rather be in your 20s forever or your 40s and why. I'd love to see what everybody else has to say. And I'd love to see the people, like what age you are now and why you would pick those, because that'd be kind of really interesting to,
Yeah, that'd be
I
cool
think,
to
to
get
check out.
different perspectives on it. And
Right? Be kind of cool. So
see why.
if you have a moment, add it to the comments. Would you rather be 20 for the rest of your life or 40 and why? Love to see that. So getting to know us. Our favorite pastimes. Well, what are our favorite pastimes, Ainsley?
Golf.
Golf, and more golf.
In the
We love
summer.
golf.
That is a summer thing.
Well, you say in the summer. Okay, so because we live in northern Manitoba, which is like retardedly cold
Yeah, in the
for
winter.
like 99% of the year.
It's like 10 months winter, 2 months summer.
Literally. We literally golf in like toques or ski caps, toques, and we have like heavier mitts and jackets. Like we will go out as soon as the snow is
Yeah.
gone and the course is dry enough.
Our first round of golf this summer, it was so cold. It was windy and cold, and we had winter jackets on. And I know a couple of the girls we went with had mitts. I think I had a toque. I know I had a vest. It was
It was ridiculous.
cold,
It was
but
so cold.
we still did it anyways. And whether it's raining or not, I've golfed in rubber boots as well.
Yeah,
Because
you
the
have
course has
golfed
been so wet, but we're golfing.
So yeah, so we say it's a summer sport, but hey, we'll play it as long as we can until literally there's snow on the ground and we can't golf anymore. So we golf, yeah.
It is yeah.
Bear in mind that doesn't mean that we're very good at it. Trust us,
We'll
even
have
though
one
we
good
golf,
game out of like 10 golf games.
like
Maybe
you
a good
need to check our
round.
scorecards because they do
It's-
not reflect that we're good golfers. But really, I've kind of this year I've changed my attitude to golf. I kind of feel like golf isn't necessarily a sport for me. It's more of like a social
Yeah.
beveraging game.
We're not in it to make any sort of tour or
No.
money off of it.
It's more social. Like I feel like I'm going to go out there, have a few drinks, have a fun time with my friends, hit the ball, and if it actually goes where I want it to go, that's just a bonus. Which I don't know. Maybe that's how everybody plays golf.
Always a bonus if the ball goes where you want it to go.
Maybe that's how everybody plays golf. I don't know.
But I think that's a good, like that's our summer pastime, I guess. The winter, well, my winters are different now. Like I spend my winters in Ontario at school, so I am very busy with school and sports through school. I play
Great.
on the flag football team, so that takes up a lot of my time and work.
And thank God for social media, because if we didn't have social media, I wouldn't be able to watch and follow Ainsley, because we're like,
Yeah.
what is it,
It's 3 days. It's
3,000 kilometers
three-
away.
It's a 30-hour drive from where we live to where I go to school.
30-hour drive. So Ainsley will be taking that trek in a couple of weeks' time to do the 3-day trip back to school, which is, I can't do it. I mean, we've done it a few times to go home and visit family back in Ontario, but it ain't fun.
No,
It ain't fun.
it is not fun at all.
So yeah, so I'm at least able to kind of watch online.
Yeah.
And
Other than that, I don't think I have many like pastimes that don't. That's about it really. Like if I'm at school, I'm just doing school things.
school things.
Do you have any other pastimes?
School things.
Do you have any winter pastimes?
Well, I like to curl.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of my go-to in the wintertime, is I love to curl. I also coach. I also coach for the school team, for one of the school teams here that we have. I coach badminton, which is
She's a
like,
professional.
oh, it is like my all-time favorite sport. Love
She's a
badminton.
professional.
I could watch it forever. I played it in university. I've coached it for several years
She
now
was
at a few
really
different
good
schools.
in university.
And yeah, it's my favorite thing. I just love it. So I do some coaching in the wintertime for the school here. And then my other favorite pastime, I don't know if you can tell, Ainsley, if you want to point out all the things on your behind
She
you,
has crafted
is
galore Harry Potter things. Her
I
entire
might
office is crafts.
have a bit of a Harry Potter fetish.
She's made everything behind her except for like the actual book series. She made all the potions and the books on the other side of her, just some fun random ones, and she's made all of these lovely photos.
Including a fireplace. I made a marble fireplace.
There's a fireplace behind me here.
I made a marble fireplace.
And she also made a silhouette outline of the castle.
I love Harry Potter.
She
Yeah.
loves Harry Potter.
Shout out to all my Potterheads. Like, who doesn't? Who can't not love that series?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Like,
that's
what her entire office is themed to Harry Potter.
I love
to the
Harry
point
Potter.
that her curtains are shower curtains that have trees on them to represent the forest.
Yeah.
It is. It's a lot.
This is my happy place. I like being in and around all this stuff. So yeah, so love Harry Potter. That's one of my favorite things. That's one of my favorite pastimes, is to watch the books and read the movies, or read the books and watch the movies. I actually, when we first owned the lodge, my cousin brought the whole series up to me. I had never read it, never watched a movie, and the kids were just little. So, and when we had the lodge at that time, we lived on an island. And we didn't have any internet at that point, because it was in the early 2000s.
We just had a sat phone to call out of.
I think we just had a sat phone, and I think we just had whatever local radio station
Yeah.
there. So we had a TV, like, because we had a generator. We weren't like, it wasn't that.
Oh, yeah, we had a
horrible.
DVD player.
We had a DVD player, so we watch lots of movies.
That's why
but
I'm obsessed with Friends, because we
Right.
didn't have kids' cartoons. We had
No.
every episode of Friends on disc, and I watched all of them, and that is my obsession.
But my cousin, she brought up the books, because we used to try and read in the summer, because that's a great time. You were just, away from everything else. So she brought me up the whole series, and I started to read it, and I was just instantly hooked. So then I made it a point for several summers in a row that was my goal, was to reread the whole series every summer. And I remember one time my husband was like, "Why do you read the same books? Like, that makes no sense to him at all." And I'm like, "Well, I could read the same 7 books and like just remember things that, the details, those fine details you lose all the time in a story. Or I could spend like $200 every year and buy 7 new books and read something that I'm not really interested in." So he was like, "Fair enough. Good point." So anyways, he never mentioned it since. So yes, Harry Potter is one of my favorite things. We've been to Universal Studios a couple times.
You've been 3 times.
Yeah, I've been 3 times. You've been
Specifically, like we go to Universal Studios, and it's not for Universal Studios. It's for Harry Potter World.
for Harry Potter World.
Yeah, you've gone twice with two of your other friends, or one each time, and then went once with me.
Yeah. So,
And I was 12 years old at the time when we went, and I was in Harry Potter World taking photos of my mother at all of these monumental places. I think we have one photo of me that's not even in Harry Potter World.
no,
But
you're on a surfboard.
no, I
You're
was
on
in the
this.
Hollywood sign.
Oh, the Hollywood side.
Yeah.
That's it.
And we have one selfie together with Butterbeer. Other than that, I have a photo of you at the apartment with number 12 on it.
Yeah.
We have a photo of you by the castle and Hagrid's hut. Like, it's just everything. There I was, little 12-year-old me was taking pictures of my
I'm like, Ainsley,
like,
take a photo of me here. Take a
35-year-old
photo of me
mother
here.
or whatever, however old you were, 40 or whatever. But yeah, she was just running around. Because they had just, when we went, it was right after they'd opened the second part.
Yes.
Because the first time you went, they didn't have that.
That's right. The first time I went with my girlfriend, and I remember this. We were on a golf vacation, and so we decided to take one day off, and we were going to go to Harry Potter World, aka Universal Studios, and it was on Mother's Day. So I'm like, awesome. So we go and we're having a great day. It was the first time I'd been there. I was so bloody excited. And I remember at one point you can cross out of Harry Potter World into Jurassic Park. And there's a really nice bridge where you can get a photo and the castle's in behind you. It's a perfect setting. So anyways, this young family walked by with a couple of kids and we're like, oh, can you take our photos of us behind this thing? So they're like, yep, no problem. So anyways, they grab our camera or phone or whatever we had at the time and they took our photo. And then I looked to the mom and I'm like, oh, I said, would you like us to take your photo? And the mom just looked at me and she goes, no. And I'm like, oh, I said, is this not your idea of a nice Mother's Day? She's like, no. And I'm like, okay. I said, was that like more of like a spa day or something? She's like, yes. And I'm like, all right, well, have a happy Mother's Day, blah, blah, blah. And anyways, this family turned, they left, and I turned to my girlfriend and I burst out laughing. I'm like, oh my God. I said, this is the best Mother's Day I've ever had. I'm sitting here at Harry Potter World and I do not have one child around me. I'm like, this has been the best day ever. And my girlfriend, she just sat there and laughed at me, but
Yeah.
I'll never forget that lady. No.
No.
She was not impressed to be there. Oh, shoot. So anyway, so I want to go back again when they create the new world that they're making the new park called Epic. And I think it's supposed to be the Ministry of Magic that's there. So hopefully when that gets built, we'll have to do a road trip.
We'll have to do a 2-day Universal trip.
Yeah.
Every
One
time
day's
you've
not
gone, it's been one day. When we went, it was one day. So we tried to fit both sides of the Harry Potter world in, plus other stuff, because I wanted to see other things. That I remember trying to walk back to the car, and I could hardly walk. My feet hurt so bad. Like, I just remember waddling back, and I was like, oh, no. But we still had a better day than the rest of our family, because they went deep sea fishing, and half of them were sick.
Half of them were seasick. Yeah, no, we had a good day. It was awesome. So so Harry Potter is a big love of mine. Of course, we do lots of boating. We do some fishing and stuff like that. I have a paddle board. Love to paddle board. My dog loves to paddle board with me. He's a 10-year-old standard poodle. He's this giant oaf of a dog. And I literally cannot get on the paddle board now without him getting on the front of the board and sitting on it. So that's another thing that I love to do.
So far, in 10 years, there's never been an accident.
Nope, we've never spilled it. Never spilled it yet.
There's been a lot of close calls. We had a close call one time in kayaks, where we had a property in another town we lived in, and friends of ours had 2 kayaks there. So we decided we were going to go kayaking, and we had a camper there and stuff, so we could stay overnight because it wasn't where we lived. And so the dog, I don't even know, it was just the 2 of us. I'm assuming Dad was probably there. But anyways, the dog was on shore and we left him there. And so there's for a good 40 feet, there's reeds, like just these tall reeds sticking out. So we were trying to paddle through that, and we each were in a kayak, and we looked behind us, and the dog is swimming. He hates water.
Hates water.
Like, he
hates
refuses to swim in it. Like, he will go to the house to drink rather than drink out of the lake. And he's swimming after us because, heaven forbid, his mom has left shore.
He's a mama's dog.
It was about 4 feet of water. It wasn't super deep. And
it wasn't deep, but it was out a long ways.
Yeah, it was out quite a ways.
It was
so
probably
he's swimming, and we're like,
100 yards.
well, what are we going to do with him? So then we put both kayaks together, and we're trying to lift him into the kayak and get him on the back of it. And so he got into your kayak, and we got him in the back, so they were just weighed right down in the back.
My kayak is sitting like this now.
And he kept standing
His
up.
head is right
was
here.
over top. And we saw some animals, and there's been times on the paddleboard as well where we've seen ducks or loons. And
He goes crazy for a good loon or a beaver.
But so far,
Yeah,
no
it was
no spillage.
No spillage so far. And yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we've seen our fair share of ducks and loons. I try to steer clear of beavers, but honest to God, we go by like a stick sticking out of the water
Yeah.
and he thinks it's something that he needs. This year, though, actually, neighbors down the road, their two dogs came out in the water while we were out there. And Garmin knows them. Garmin is the name of our dog. He's a black standard poodle. And when he got wind of the other two dogs, then he stood up and definitely we should not have 6 legs standing on the paddleboard. As long as he's sitting and just my 2 legs are standing, we good. So he's kind of up, and I'm like, whoa, 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 and it was one of these.
Yeah.
But anyways, we managed to stay upright. So yeah,
Yeah,
so
no, he's-
kayaking or in
Yeah,
paddleboarding,
he's good.
we
But
like
he's,
to do that.
if mom leaves without him, he's determined. Like there was one time at our second lodge, which was on mainland, and you and Michael, my brother, had gone canoeing. You guys were in the canoe.
Yes, yes.
And
Well,
so
hold on. I tried to go paddleboarding without my son. I love him to death. So he got in a canoe and he was a hot mess. He is all over the place around me, and I'm just trying to go for a nice paddleboard. So anyways,
And so our lodge was in a little bay, and then there was another bay next to it, but there's a little point. So they got around the point, and Garmin started to lose his mind, and he just left. And Dad and I were like, "What are we gonna do? Like, where did he go? Like, this is mainland. He could go forever. Who knows?" And you could just hear him crashing through the bush, trying to follow them. And so you guys were on the other side of the point.
we were. There was a second little bay that dipped around.
Yeah, and you guys heard something. Didn't you think it was a moose or something?
So we hear this crashing coming through the bush. And Michael and I are like, oh my gosh, it's a moose. Like, we're going to see a moose. Like, for sure a moose is coming through if it's crashing through this much noise. So we're all nice and quiet, which moose were common. They're common up
Yeah.
here. They were common up and around the lodge.
And bears and stuff.
And bear, like, wildlife.
No one was concerned. It was
No,
just
and
like,
we
"Ooh,
were
it's an
we
animal."
were very mindful of wildlife and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So but anyways, we can hear this crashing. So we're just quiet, still in this bay. We're looking at the projected place we think that this giant moose is going to come out. And all of a sudden, if you looked lower down into the reeds, up pops this stupid black poodle head. And I'm like, oh my God. Now what are we going to do? Like, he's tripes through
Yeah.
all of this bush.
So you guys tried to get him. You got him into the canoe.
We got him into the canoe.
And
That's
then
what we
Dad
did.
and I came around the corner with the pontoon boat, and then we had to get him on from the canoe to the pontoon
Oh.
boat to take him back to the lodge. But he is just determined when it comes to
Yeah.
you being gone.
Yeah. He loves to, I can't get out on that paddleboard
Yeah, like
anymore.
if you're going by yourself, you have to make sure he's in the house and doesn't see you leave. Like,
I know.
Yeah, he's
'Cause he cray-cray.
he's determined, but
He's
we love him. We love him.
Yeah. So anyways, so those are a few things of my likes and my favorite things too. Yeah. So I guess what do we look forward to on this channel, Ainsley?
Success, money, richness, famousness. I'm just kidding.
I thought just sharing stories, but okay, we'll take all that entails.
I'm looking forward to just having fun and doing this with you because it's just another thing we can like connect through while we're apart,
Right?
and we can do it apart, which is nice.
It is
And
nice.
It is a timeless hobby per se for us.
Yeah. Time capsule. So we've got some things already planned. We're going to talk a lot about what happened with us this summer. This summer we went and toured the Gimli International Film Festival, which is held in Gimli, Manitoba. So we did that event for 4 days this year. So we're going to talk about that. Ainsley's actually going in for a small medical procedure this week.
After this weekend,
So we're going to talk
we're
about
gonna
that too.
expose my health problems, I guess.
Yes, we're going to talk about that, and I'm definitely going to video to see how that goes. And then we're going to talk about some fun things. We got a few things about lodge life, all the golf that we've done.
Pool. We have pooled.
We have pool. We have to talk about pool. So
Yeah.
pool is our new thing.
So it's been a good summer, so we're gonna
Good summer.
kinda
Wow, we just wanna
recap
share it
the
with you.
summer within a few episodes, and then just keep on moving on with life. I guess there's endless things to talk about,
We will have lots of
but
stuff.
it's gonna be
Yeah.
lighthearted and enjoyable,
Absolutely.
and hopefully relatable in some senses.
Right? Absolutely. All right. Well, we should wrap this up.
Well, we should explain like our formatting here. Like we're gonna
Okay.
obviously we're called Second Saturday because Sunday is the second Saturday, so podcasts will be uploaded on Sundays, hence
Yes.
the name, and weekly, which is amazing. So
Yeah.
come back weekly to listen
Weekly
to us
to us.
because you didn't know you needed us,
Know us now. You did not know that you
Yeah.
needed us.
and you will learn a lot more about us Do not
Oh,
fear.
and also, I am going to take an online ADHD. We're going to take
Oh,
Ainsley's going to
yeah.
quiz me on whether I have ADHD or not. Never been diagnosed. A
She has
lot of
it.
people that I know highly
She
suspect it.
has
So
it.
we're going to do an online
She definitely
ADHD
has it. I
quiz to
definitely have it as
see.
well, but she definitely has it.
A little cray.
Yeah, she's. Ooh.
Yeah, so those types of things. We're just going to talk about our lives and all the fun things
Yeah.
and
Get ready.
school and
Get ready for it.
all those other crazy things.
Yeah.
So that's what you got from us.
Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. So thank you for listening to our first Second Saturday podcast.
Woo, 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 woo. We're going to be posting this on YouTube and Spotify, so make sure you subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, follow us. I think that's how Spotify works.
Yep.
I think you can like on Spotify as well, and share it to all of your friends,
Let everybody know.
because they'll be missing out.
Right.
Bye.
Toodles.